The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
It's time to get your business in gear. Do you feel that sometimes you're in the right industry, but you're not attracting the right clients? Well, let's figure it out intimately with Tammeron is a 1-hour show presenting you with simple and basic tips to help you create a more intimate, fulfilling business and personal life. Now, here's your host, Tammeron.
Welcome to this fun-filled interactive hour with me, Tammeron. I've created this show to provide you, my listeners, with some of the top experts in the world who can help us all create more fun, passion, and intimacy back into our personal and professional lives. And after being an entrepreneur since I was 26 years old, raising my 2 kids, volunteering in my community, and privately educating myself through online courses, books, and self-development seminars, I realized that I have a huge range of knowledge to share with you. And as a motivational business speaker, my passion is to share my intimate stories, and it allows me to work authentically with other people in their business. And I also realize that I attract people just like me who are a divine mirror of my life, and entrepreneurs who are trying to find out that healthy balance in their life, people who are visionaries, passionate, and highly sexual in nature. There are ups and downs to having all of this beautiful sexual energy that swirls all around us. And we tend to be very creative, and we have a million ideas whipping around in our heads, and we love challenges. We want to work with other like-minded people and be successful. But sometimes there are just issues that come up. Things like we attract many people who want to work with us or just hang with us. And how do we manage ourselves and our time effectively? How do we represent ourselves in business to show our true brand? Or how do we work effectively with other entrepreneurs to create affiliates, joint ventures, or even equal partnerships? And this seems to be a huge trend right now. Join me as I interview amazing guests, offer live business coaching, and give you an opportunity to hear what coaching is all about in business. And many entrepreneurs believe that their business is different than someone else's, and I agree with this statement. Yet, I want everyone to understand that the reason why you are successful or not in your business is because of how you think and feel about yourself. Your business as an entrepreneur is about whom you believe yourself to be. And using this as the core of your business, I can teach and help anyone how to make their business better. If you'd like to call in or ask questions, the number is always toll free at 1-888-346-9141. You can also email me at Tammeron@figureitoutlive.com or hit the email host button here on my homepage on voiceamerica.com. So for now, sit back and enjoy as we all learn how to become more intimate in your business, to understand what is really going on, and to see how every aspect of your life is affected. And this includes your personal relationship that will become better as well. So today, there is no guest. It's just myself. So I encourage you, if you are listening, please call in and ask some questions. I'm going to be sharing some personal stories again, things that are coming up with the entrepreneurs around me, and also some of the things that come up for me as well. Because the beauty is, in my business and how I work with clients, is that I believe a lot of us are going through the same things all at the same time. We might be in different levels of our business. It doesn't really matter about the amount of money, but some people, if they're just starting out, they need to start making a little bit more money. Some people that have been working for a little while, they want to increase maybe their manpower, they want to increase their staffing, they might need money to develop their business. So there's always different levels. And it doesn't matter what level you're at. Sometimes we all have that same core issue running through us. And this is what really does make us all very genuine. I've seen this in my life. A lot of people make the assumption that people who are making a lot of money, a lot of assumptions are that those people have it all together. And that's not true in the case. I'm not saying for some people that it is. That it isn't, pardon me, because it can be for some people. But a lot of times we make a lot of assumptions and we don't get to know people very intimately on the inside. So my goal is to really help people have that healthy balance. All right. So in other words, whatever the amount of money you're making, or no matter how successful you are in your business, I want you to be proud of where you're at. I want you to feel good about where you're at and to accept where you're at all the time and know that there's always room for improvement, but it may just show up in different forms. So today I'm going to give a tarot card. I haven't done this in a while. And I really felt drawn to do this today because I'm going to be sharing some personal stories, things that have been happening, like I said, with my clients as of today as a part of our business meetings. And I'm going to be sharing some information that I've written in my newsletter and some more personal stories. So I felt really inclined to draw a card. So for you guys listening, the card I drew today, again, is from Doreen Virtue's tarot deck called Angel Therapy. I have a bunch of different decks, and today this one felt appropriate. So the card that I drew says God Box. Very interesting card. Really applies to a lot of everything I put together for the show. It says, write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper that you put into a special container called a God box, and as a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. So it says the angels want to relieve you of the burden of worry by giving you a physical method for releasing your cares to heaven. And writing down your prayer requests or worries for divine intervention is an effective way to work in partnership with God and the angels. And you can write something short or lengthy and will receive the same result. What matters the most is that you write from your heart and then give the paper to heaven symbolically, either by burning it, which releases it, putting it in the freezer, which stops the situation from progressing, burying it, which helps with emotional healing, or putting the paper in a God box. All right, so if you got a special container or a box. And as a matter of fact, I actually have a God box. I have something that my kids bought for me years ago when I launched my business. So of course, I'm just like you guys. I do have issues that are coming up for me as well, trying to move forward. And so tonight I'm going to be putting some of my concerns in my God box as well. But you might hear some of that in my story that I'm going to share with you guys today. So very excited about that. So the topic today is hold on to your dreams. A lot of people right now, there's some huge shifts going on energetically. I personally felt a huge shift yesterday. I just woke up and, really felt like, I was letting go of things, even though I didn't really understand what it was. And it was actually kind of frightening. It was kind of scary. So on a subconscious level, I think I was letting go of something. And when you're not knowing what's next, that can be very scary for people. So just remember that there's two different types of fears as well. There's the fear of what we do know. So that could be something like the fear of public speaking, the fear of heights, the fear of, whatever. But sometimes there's also a fear of what we don't know. So especially when you're an entrepreneur and you're really trying to get going or really find your brand or find your purpose, sometimes we just feel like we're doing so much and nothing's happening. And so it's that fear of coming up, that things aren't happening. And so I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, don't let go, don't give in, because sometimes when you're that close to something, that's really what it is. And that's why there's a fear there, you're being pushed to your limit. So it's very, very important for you to just stay focused on what it is that you're working on. Again, there's that saying, what you focus on expands. So I'm going to share some tips. I'm going to give you guys some strategies that I use as well, because I go through the same things as you guys. It's not always fun and games and glory and, whatever. But when you've decided to make changes, you're going to go through stuff like this. So I'm going to share a little bit from my newsletter as well, because my newsletter is really plugging into what's going on in my personal life, and it's also appropriate to what I'm working on with my workshops and events, and also with the radio show. So for this week, what I wrote was, pushing through instead of giving up seems to be appropriate for right now. Even though we had a very late spring here in Southern Ontario, I feel like so many ideas and business partnerships are finally coming into fruition. I've been very busy these last few months, and I almost feel guilty because I wasn't in a position to publicly share a few amazing things that are happening here. So I'm asking for just a little bit more time, maybe another week, for everyone to remain patient, and then you'll be able to find out my surprise. And I've also been working privately with a few entrepreneurs with my 6-hour business intimacy program. And the one thing I seem to find is that when we have a dream that we want fulfilled, patience is extremely important. And for me, there have been quiet moments where people have suggested that I just throw in the towel. And my response was, I just can't. It's not my nature to give up. And I've learned that perhaps I need to change my perception of a situation or come up with a new plan. But to give up, it just doesn't exist. And it appears that I attract entrepreneurs who are very close to giving up on themselves or their dreams. And with my straightforward attitude and reminding clients to hold on has become a trait that I'm now becoming known for. In fact, I think I'm really starting to love who I am because of this attribute. So with this in mind, I just want to remind you that when you stay focused on anything in life, changes can occur, and I'm the living proof of this concept for sure. And always remember, what you focus on expands. And if you feel that you're focusing or working on something in your life and the magic hasn't happened for you yet, then perhaps you're actually focusing on fears or false beliefs behind those ideas. And sometimes our subconscious is where the problem might lie. So if you feel that you would like to find out if this is what's happening for you, just remember that I always offer that free 15-minute consultation call. So if that is something that you're relating to, if you feel like, things just aren't happening for you, again, I encourage you guys, check out my website, tammeronsplace.com, and I want you to go to the consultation page. I'm going to be sharing that a few times on the show tonight, and book that free 15-minute consultation call. I will give you a quick survey to do. You can even see that on the website as well. It's just a couple of questions. I just want to see where you're at emotionally and see if I can really help you with one of my programs, a workshop, or sometimes it's just a 90-minute consultation. All right. So again, I go through this too, and sometimes it's just, I need that little bit more patience. And what I was sharing today in our business support group here was that, there are days when you just feel like, oh, I've worked so hard. I just keep plugging away. And because, I tend to attract entrepreneurs who are visionaries, like I say, and have a lot of ideas, we tend to be doing a lot anyways. It's our nature to be always doing something and have all these wonderful ideas and want to see things happening. What happens is, we tend to forget how much we've actually done, because we're always so focused on those goals, and we want that quick fix, or I want to see it happen. And sometimes you just got to let go a little bit and remind yourself of what you have done. And another way to remind myself of doing this is to journal. And I do have my journals available as well for sale. They're 100-page journals, and so when you keep track of everything you're doing, you can really step into your own power that way and sort of honor yourself and say, you know what, I have been working towards that goal. So, so I just encourage people to stay in there. And after the first commercial break, I'm going to share some real stories of some of the people and some of their issues that have come up, so I can share that with all of you, and then how we chose to resolve it together as a group. All right, so what I'm going to do now is take that first break, and I just want to remind you that you're listening to me, Tammeron, here on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
What does creme de la creme mean? It's the greatness of living, the willingness to be the best. It's living beyond what you know is possible with no limitation. Access Consciousness presents Creme de la Creme, a program that empowers you to choose and create the life you would like to have and entices you into being who you are, not who others would have you be. It's the best of the best. It's the finer things in life. It's brilliant. It's fun. It's exciting. Join us for Creme de la Creme every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and the topic for today is called Hold On to Your Dreams. So I just want to remind you guys again, that saying, what you focus on expands. So I'm going to really get into more detail for you with this. If you're focusing on what you don't have, if you're focusing on what's not showing up, if you're focusing on not reaching your dreams, guess what? You don't get there. The subconscious mind is very, very powerful. So in order for you to change that, I want you to, really look at what it is that you're doing. Keep track of it. Like I said before the break, you write it down in a journal, or you actually have a business plan. And I'm going to be talking about that part of the show, that concept, the last part of the show. So really having a strategic basic plan template, not meaning you need to know everything, but to use a template is something that I offer in my business intimacy program, which is a 6-hour program. But today, I just want to remind you as well, if you're really getting emotional and you just feel like you're throwing in the towel, maybe it's something all you need as well is a 90-minute consultation. So if you're listening to this show, or if you send the show to someone, the recorded version as well, you let me know that you've heard this specific show, and I will offer 10% off for a free private consultation with me, which is a 90-minute. Please go to the website, tammeronsplace.com, hit the consultation page, and you can book that with me. All right, so I will offer a 10%, and you can give me the password or email me the word consultation, and then I'll know, or you just let me know you've listened to this show. All right, so here we go. We're talking about, holding on to your dreams. Again, I tend to attract people that really are very, very close to giving up. And a lot of people like me for the straightforwardness. Some people don't like it, but the people that really just need to know what it is they need to do right now, or what they need to change in their mind to just change stuff around, that's who I tend to attract. I've realized that I don't tend to work with people for a long period of time, and that's because I can really help them that quickly. So none of my programs, anything, are more than 6-7 hours total. So we can do it all together in one day, or sometimes we break it up, and it can vary between anywhere from 90 minutes up to 6-7 hours, depending on what you sign up for with me. So I encourage you to do so. Check me out, tammeronsplace.com. Also remember, I'm on Facebook, Tammeron, J. Karam. You can see all these links on my host page here on Voice America. Just go down to the right, and you can just hit any of those links. It goes directly to me. And if you want to email, you just hit the email host page. That goes to me as well. It doesn't go to the radio show. So, and you can also follow me on my business page, Tammeron's Place. And the same thing for Twitter, Tammeron's Place. All right, so let's get back. I want to share some information with you guys. So, what we focus on expands. So today, for example, we were in our support group that we run here every 2 weeks. It's just literally a support group where you come in as an entrepreneur, you've got a problem. And we've got our regulars that come every 2 weeks, and sometimes we have other people that come in. And it really is beautiful to see the changes in people, especially the people that keep showing up, because I honestly believe that, you know, when we're working through things, it's emotionally, it's, you know, those fears or those negative beliefs that we have about ourselves that prevent us from really getting what we want, or really making those huge leaps and bounds in our personal life and in our business. And so a lot of what's been going on around me and around my clients is this stuff about being impatient. And so today we were all laughing about that, because everybody was sharing a story today. And I just had to laugh, and I said, wow, we're all like really impatient right now. It's like, you know, it seems to be the theme of the day. And that's exactly what I had planned for the radio show. So I just love the synchronicity of stuff like that. And one of the members in our group said she was literally driving down the road, and a big, huge flock of birds, like at least 100 birds, literally swooped down in front of her and scared the living daylights out of her, and she had to slam on the brakes. There was just so many birds. And so I said to her, and she goes, holy, I had to slow down. And I just looked at her and I said, that is your message for today. You need to slow down. I think, you know, even with her, is that, you know, she's got all these ideas, all these things going on. And sometimes you just need to sit down and stay focused, maybe work with somebody. Like I say, you know, hire a coach, whether it's me or somebody else. There's always somebody out there that can probably guide you with what you need, especially if you're an entrepreneur. If you don't think you can afford it, barter. I've bartered with lots of people. I've got incredible, you know, equal barters with people in business as well. And so when something like that is forcing you to slow down in your life, for some people, like the other person in the workshop, it was an injury. And so, you know, he had a physical injury, and he's starting to get better now. But, you know, he was laughing and saying, you know, it's exactly what I needed to do, because the fact that he was a little bit physically disabled forced him to do his business differently. And because of that, he learned something very, very powerful about his business. And so I believe there are no accidents. I believe that sometimes it just looks like, you know, something has been a trauma, but the truth is there's a reason why you're being told to slow down. So that really is the theme of what's going on around me. And what I'm going to do is, I love to talk about Bach flower remedies. I do give these out to people. It's part of a consultation, a 90-minute consultation call. And we can do this over the phone, or we do it in person. Again, I can always mail it. I have studied many modalities in my life, and one of the most effective and beautiful, safe things I've ever learned how to use are remedies that are from nature. So because I'm a foodie and I'm drawn to herbs and, you know, learning about what foods are growing and what to eat in your body and that kind of stuff, I'm very drawn to using natural things as well. And so many years ago, I wanted to learn more about this, and I ended up studying so that I could take all 3 levels. I could actually teach these courses in Bach flowers, which was originated in England by a man the name of Edward Bach. And it's fascinating that we can take something from nature to balance our emotions. So one of the remedies, these are just little vibrational energy remedies. You can find out more about it if you go online and just Google it. Bach, meaning BACH, is that you can take 38 different negative emotions. And if you can just define what the strongest negative emotion is that's coming up for you, you can take the remedy, and very quickly it can rebalance and it can restore you back to a healthy balance, which a lot of people I feel really need to find things that are more natural. And that's why I love to talk about this. So today, one of the actual remedies is actually called impatience. It's one of the ones that's literally, it's named after a flower called impatience. And the remedy itself is for people who are impatient. So I'm going to share this with you guys because you might resonate with this, because I resonate with it, because this is kind of what's going on for me too. So I did make a remedy and put this in it for me. It says here, impatience Bach flower essence is a perfect match for its own name, as it relates to the qualities of patience and gentleness. And in a negative impatient state, impatience, inner tension, and a general air of irritation predominate. The impatient's personality is quick thinking and wants to work at a fast pace. And when supervising others, this personality feels the urge to just do it themselves rather than suffer the frustration of watching someone else work slowly or not up to their standards. And when forced to work with others at a slower pace, the adaptation to a lower energy level takes a toll, creating a constant energy draining mental tension. And because of their high standards and tendency to push others, impatient bosses can quickly become referred to as slave drivers, but the true impatient person doesn't want to be the boss. He would rather prefer to work alone, keeping his own pace with no interference from others. He treasures his independence. And because these people move quickly, both mentally and physically, they become worn out quickly as well. And they are also accident prone, but less likely than others to be seriously injured because their quickness can pull them out of situations as easily as it puts them into them. And in the negative impatient state, this personality fails to see that each person is part of a whole and that we all depend upon each other. And he also does not believe that the most capable have any obligation to share their gifts in service to others. And when in an extreme negative impatient state, the usual outward signs such as rapid speech and nervous gestures may be turned inward, causing skin rashes and other irritations. And when in the positive state, impatient people have great capacity for empathy and patience. But they still possess quickness of mind, intelligence, and decision making, but they put them all to good use in the service of others, as well as themselves. And this Bach flower remedy is useful in bringing the negative impatient personality back into its positive state, but it is also useful in daily life for those with other personalities. A smart mother will keep this Bach flower essence on hand for those times when the children's squabbles or temper tantrums have destroyed her patience. Interestingly, this treatment will aid the children directly and will help the mother regain her lost patience. So I really love this remedy. Again, it's really fascinating to know how this stuff works, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit later on in the show, maybe after the next break, about another remedy, and it's called Willow. And I have given Willow to so many entrepreneurs. It's a fascinating remedy, and it's one of my favorites. I've taken it a lot myself, and I really felt that it helped me emotionally as well. So if you feel that things just aren't really happening, like I said, I just want to recap. Get in there, take a good look at the stuff that you actually do, because you're maybe doing too much, or you're not staying focused on one main aspect of your business in order for you to get those results. So if we can narrow it down, if I can really help you guys in my business intimacy program, to break it down, or to see, schedule the way you're doing things, or put them into a template where you can break it down and you can see where you need to be spending most of your time, and then spend a little bit more time on this and that, you're going to see faster results. And it's very, very fascinating, especially if you're using social media to run your business, because I do find with a lot of people, when they start using it right away, they tend to be using social media way too much, and they're spending a lot of time, say, on Facebook or Twitter, and you're wasting more time doing that when you could be focused on, talking to clients and that kind of stuff. So sometimes that's very, very common. Again, you got to find that balance of what works, or start delegating, which is what I've had to do. Now that kids are at school, I'm able to get students to do that, and I can get it for a great rate because a lot of these kids need jobs and they're brilliant at doing stuff on social media. All right, so it is that time. I'm going to take my next break right now, and when I get back, I'm going to talk about that remedy called Willow, because it's a fascinating remedy and can really help people as well. So just to remind you, this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on Voice America on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and today's show title is called Hold On to Your Dreams. Again, I just want to honor if anybody feels like they're really struggling and ready to throw in that towel, I just want to offer a 10% off on a 90-minute consultation call. If you feel that could help you, go to my website, tammeronsplace.com, go to the consultation page, and you can check it out there to book that with me. Just make sure when you book it, you let me know you listen to this show, or you can email me through the email host button or at tammeron@figureitoutlive.com. Let me know what's going on, and again, I'll give you 10% off that 90-minute call. We can do it Skype or over the phone if it's not in person. So I was talking about some Bach flower remedies. I find it very fascinating. Again, I just want to remind you guys that, as part of, maybe you're impatient, whatever, but sometimes, like I shared in the show before, that, when things just aren't happening the way you want, sometimes it's just changing the way you're running your business or changing how you feel that the business is going to work. And sometimes it's easier when just somebody third party looks at it and can see it, who's not emotionally attached. So it's really, really powerful to get a business coach, third party, someone you know, someone who might be sort of in that same industry as you that really gets it and understands, because sometimes it's just a little bit of tweaking. But for me, what happened last December is that I literally had to turn my business around 180 degrees on how I was doing things, how I was running things, and where I was spending my time. And so what I did is I took all that information, I took other business courses I had taken, and I literally created a huge template. And I just started plugging everything that I learned into it. And I couldn't believe what I created. And how I realized to do that is because when I was getting really, really stressed, all I kept hearing in my head was go meditate, go meditate. And through the power of meditation and just calming down and not getting caught up in the chaos in my head, all I kept hearing was just sit down and start writing. And I don't know what happened. This template just came out of me. So it's brilliant. I show it with other people. I use that now, like I said, in my 6-hour business intimacy program. And I teach people that, it's great if I'm showing you how to do it is one thing, but when you actually do it, I just give you the template. When you actually do it and write it down, magic happens. And because you've written it down, you can look at that every day, just like I do. Every morning, I sit down and I look at this business template and I've broken it down and I look at it and I go, okay, yeah, check that off. I accomplished that this month, got this resolved, got that cleared up, whatever. And, what am I working on now? So if there's something in that business template that's still empty or blank, I'll say to myself, am I working towards that? Because some aspects of your business are intertwined and you can have a big project on the go, but in order for that big project to manifest itself, you need to break it down into smaller pieces. And so you can be using your social media, to really complement those smaller pieces of the big picture. And you can actually create an income using those smaller pieces. It doesn't always have to be you're selling the big ticket. So it's very, very fascinating, and it's less pressure on you. Again, it creates a bigger opportunity for you to meet people for different reasons that still, people get to know what it is that you do. And you can meet people, and who knows, people might spend a little bit of time with you. They get to know you personally, and then they're ready to spend the big ticket. It really is all about, what I call intimacy, and that's what I really talk about with people, is that these days people are pretty fickle on where they spend their money and who they spend their money on, and people are just becoming more particular. If you need a coach, there's like a million out there. So you got to find the right person that works for you. It's a very competitive market out there, but there's also a lot of uniqueness in the marketplace. And so the more unique you are in your business, the easier it is for people to find you. And that's what I teach people, is to really become intimate with yourself in your business so that you can market yourself appropriately. All right, that's why I call myself a sexual intimacy lifestyle expert. Again, I know for a fact that whatever's going on in your business, you're struggling with in your personal life, and it will show up, in that creative sexual energy. So are you suppressing that in your business and in your energy, in your business? Okay, so I'm going to talk about this Bach flower remedy called Willow. Now, listen to this. It says here, human nature dictates that each of us has this needed... I'm going to start all over again. Human nature dictates that each of us has needed this Bach flower remedy at some time. It can occur when another's good fortune contrasts too sharply with our own situation and jealousy and resentment overtake us. At those times, we rail at our fate and blame everything and everyone but ourselves for our own situation. And self-pity is our overriding emotion. And we might feel so resentful that we're tempted to put an end to someone else's cheerfulness by doing something to spoil their day. And quite obviously, we aren't happy and comfortable with ourselves, and a few doses of this Bach flower essence can bring us back into our normal state. And when the negative willow state becomes chronic, it can have a destructive effect on the sufferer and on everyone around them. And willow is the state of which feelings are powerfully projected into the outside world. And in this state, people are very good at making demands but never see a need to reciprocate. They criticize to an extent that they finally alienate all those who once tried to help them. Eventually, people grow tired of trying and withdraw. So thus the chronic willow types become more isolate and more embittered over the injustices in his or her life. He holds grudges, sometimes for years and sometimes for reasons that have become unclear. And rather than erupting and having it out with someone, he will smolder and emit clouds of toxic energy. And because he is a victim, he will never take responsibility or look within to see the reasons for his many failures. And as do those in other negative flower essence states, this personality refuses to accept guidance from his or her higher self. And often people who have not experienced the success they wish for fall into the negative willow state as they meet the midpoint in life. They bemoan promotions not received, status not attained, possessions not owned. Those who place the highest value on physical attractiveness bewail and the fact that this or her looks are fading. And those being treated with this Bach flower remedy will gradually come to see that everything he or she experiences is the outcome of personal thoughts being projected into the outer world, and will begin working to change those thoughts. He will learn to deliberately focus on the positive rather than the negative, and thus begin to bring about those positive changes. And once transformed into the positive state, this person will take responsibility for his or her own fate. He will cease being a victim and become the master of his own fate. Thus, he will begin to once again enjoy life. So this is a very powerful remedy. Like I said, I've taken this myself in times where, I just kept saying, like, why me? Like, why do these things kept happening to me? And so I realized that there were things that I needed to learn about myself. In other words, take my weakness and turn them into strengths. And so when I took that time to really focus on that and to learn more things about myself, I no longer felt victim to things. I actually felt empowered. And to be honest, a lot of people look at me and they go, oh God, you're just so powerful. You do this, you do that. And I say, you know what? You don't know the stories behind it. Not that I'm saying, oh, poor me, but what I'm saying is that I took something and I made something beautiful out of it. I chose that. And so that is why I love to help other people. But I also do that by sharing my own stories. And I share very intimate stories with people when I work one-on-one with them or in my programs. Again, that's how I feel I can help others. And it's what I had to learn about myself is what I really share very intimately. And I do that in speaking as well. So my book is coming out. Just to remind you guys, I do have my first copy, my first draft written. So I got to work on that second draft, make sure all my storylines are connected. I've written 12 individual stories that are true. And it really is my own personal journey of my life since I left my husband, and how I basically found myself and how I created a business based on my own personal life. So very excited about that. So again, I just want to recap what I shared here about this Bach flower called willow. They talk about, when you can learn to accept that guidance from your higher self, what they talked about. So in other words, when you can learn to let go, and when you can just stop focusing on the why me, and just sit and just be still and be quiet and to just sit and listen. And the more often you do that, the more you're going to trust what you're hearing in your head. And the one thing I talk about a lot about trust is that a lot of times what you're going to hear is not what you expect to hear. And sometimes what you're hearing is going to be very, very different from what a lot of people have maybe telling you or sharing with you. And I don't mean people you've paid for. I mean people that give the free advice, or the people that have the should have conversations, or, they seem to know it all, yet they're not successful in their own life. So be very careful about stuff like that. So when you are hearing something very intuitively, listen and learn how to trust it, because when you can do that and slow down, that's when you're going to start honoring things in your own mind. And that's very, very powerful to get to that state. Again, it's hard to do, but once you start doing it, you'll get the hang of it and you'll start to trust it. Just like I said last December when, things were just like crashing and changing for me. And I literally just, I just heard in my head, go meditate. And in my head, in my meditation, all I heard was just start writing. And I didn't know what I was going to start writing. I just started writing, and a business template was formed for me. And now that's what I help other people do. So it's very, very powerful when you can do that. All right, so I'm going to take my last break. And when we get back, I have a little bit more to share with you guys before we actually close the show today. So just want to remind you, this is Tammeron, and you're listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately here on the Empowerment Channel. So stay tuned for more after the break.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
When you make decisions, do you ever find yourself in doubt? Are you trying to figure out what's right with you? Are you ready to truly change your life? Listen for the Access Consciousness radio show with the founders of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Heer. Consciousness is all about including everything and judging nothing. Our program will help you break free from your personal limitations and enhance positive change in all areas of your life. Tune in to Access Consciousness, Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Voice America Empowerment.
Do you feel that you are in the right industry of serving others, yet you are not attracting as many clients as you would like? Magic happens when anyone brands their true self as the forefront of their business. I am currently looking for entrepreneurs who know they have a calling, yet feel as though something is missing. Yes, sometimes we're in our business every day that we can't see our own gifts and uniqueness, and that is where I come in. My gift as an entrepreneur is that I was struggling with the same issue, so I hired other business coaches to help me see what I couldn't. It was an enduring, difficult self-discovery, but it was well worth it. It catapulted me to capture my talents and use them to help other entrepreneurs. And here's how I can help you in a way that is so unique, authentic, and super fun. I am looking for guests to be live on my radio show who are willing to share what they feel is their biggest problem in their business. And I will help you figure out what is the core issue and catapult your business forward. Contact me, Tammeron, through my host page on Let's Figure It Out Intimately on the Empowerment Channel now.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You've tuned into Let's Figure It Out Intimately with your host, Tammeron. Want to be a guest live on her show? Email Tammeron at figureitoutlive.com. If you'd like to call into today's program, please call us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Tammeron, and the topic today is hold on to your dreams. Again, to recap what we've been talking about, a lot of people really feeling like they're going to throw in the towel on certain things they're working on, and I encourage you, don't do it. You know, maybe reevaluate how you're running things, how you're doing things, get a coach, find someone to help you, find someone who's done something similar. And if you don't know someone, start asking people, because people know people. Sometimes people are married to somebody. Sometimes it's their brother. Could be their hairdresser, has a part-time job. Who knows? It's just there's always somebody, I believe, within your own reach somewhere. I don't believe that we're meant to live alone, all right? So when you understand that, it'll change your life, okay? I've talked about, being impatient with stuff like that. Really, thinking that you're a bit of a victim. We talked about that with the Willow Remedy, and to really get out of that why me attitude and to really focus on some of the positive things. And one of the ways you could do that is by, like I said, going back to looking at everything that you've done and reviewing it and honoring yourself, because I do tend to attract people who tend to do a lot anyways. Visionaries are people that usually have a million ideas whipping around in their heads, and they've got so much going on, and they kind of want everything to just flow together, just like me, and you want to make it all happen. And sometimes we're doing a little bit of everything until that money kicks in, and then we can start delegating. So it gets tough. So you really got to focus on, where you're spending your time. And it really is crucial to really break it down. I remember one time I did this with someone a long time ago, and I just looked at this woman, and she was brilliant. She was probably one of the most talented artists I had ever seen, and she was very busy teaching yoga. Now, I understand that if you are that creative and literally that brilliant, you need something in your life to really hold that creativity and to really allow your gifts to come through. But she was struggling financially. And so I said to her, I just want to show you how much time you spend on stuff that doesn't make a lot of money. Yoga, people don't pay a lot of money to come to yoga class. And so what I did is I looked at her entire week, and we broke down how much time she spent on work, and that included how much time she spent doing her artwork and how much time she spent doing yoga. And literally, she was spending a good 80 to 90% of her time running yoga classes a couple of times a week and not making very much money. And she was spending very little time on her artwork, which was brilliant. And just to sell one piece probably was about the same value as 2 to 3 months of yoga classes. And I said to her, all you need to do is just sell one of those. And she had so many pieces that she had worked on and didn't finish them. And I said, I'm encouraging you, your stuff is just so unique and so brilliant that, focus on the big ticket a little bit more and then still use your yoga. And even if, you feel like you've got to get another job in there to really help the money come in, just understand that the focus of your time really should be on your artwork. And she was very angry when I told her that, because I think she felt that, yoga was such a spiritual practice, and, she just felt like she could really help a lot more people. And I get that. But when you are that gifted at something, I really feel like that was more of her purpose. And so she didn't like hearing what I had to say, and I was trying to say it as a genuine friendship. And I ran into her a couple of years later, and she actually apologized and said to me, my God, you were right. And I said, it was just because I saw how gifted you were, and I just wanted you to see the same. And so, again, it really is about managing your time. And people who are gifted and very creative and have a lot of ideas, sometimes that's all it is. It's just about managing your time. And so I can look at every person individually and see, where it is you spend your time. And I've had to do it myself. Sometimes I get out of whack and I feel like I'm spending too much time on the things that really don't bring in money, or they don't create places for me where I can meet others so people get to know what it is that I do. So, I have to really recoup and go, okay, I need to get out of that, and to, force myself to go focus on those things. Because, sometimes stuff just happens and we just don't realize. It's not that you're not good at what you do. It's not that you're unsuccessful. Sometimes it's just, you got to just learn how, as an entrepreneur, you got to learn how to manage these things, because, time is money. And at the end of the day, if the money's not coming in, that's what you got to do. So again, I've talked about meditation a couple of times, and I've actually shared this on a show, I think once for sure, maybe twice, but I share it a lot with people, and it's so effective. So I just want to remind you guys how you can use this really quick tip, a really simple strategy. If, the word meditation, you're like, oh, I'm not too sure. Do I have to join a religion? No, you don't. I don't want to buy the CDs not knowing what it is. I totally agree. Here is something so simple, and it's going to teach you how to control your mind. Meditation, really, you can listen to guided meditations, which are my favorite. But if you're just learning how to just quiet your mind, this is really simple, because the goal is to not think. The goal is, and that's what they mean by let go. It means not thinking about what am I going to make for dinner, what am I going to do about blah, 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 what am I going to do, what am I going to do. And so what you want to do is allow yourself to not think, so you can hear what they call your, higher guidance to come through. And that's when you can hear things, like I say, that may not be what you're expecting. So the fastest way to do it is this. Start counting from 1 to 10. You go 1, you wait a second, and you go 2. And if you catch yourself thinking about something in between 1 and 2, you go back to number 1. And you got to get all the way up to number 10 without actually thinking about something. All you're thinking about is that counting. And you'd be surprised how many times you have to come back to number 1. It'll take you a long time before you got to get to 10 if you're someone who's really frazzled and not used to doing this. But it's brilliant, it works, and it's very simple, and you don't have to buy anything. So again, you go count, you start at 1, and you count 2, then you count to 3. And if you catch yourself thinking about something, go back to number 1 and eventually get yourself up to the number 10. And you'll find that you're calmer, your heart rate will go down. You can listen to things, you can trust that inner guidance, and some of the stuff that's going to come through is brilliant. A lot of people have written books, they've thought of things, like it's just brilliant what comes through. So I love to share that with people. All right, so that's a quick tip. So just remember, if you do want to check out any of my services or get that 10% off on a 90-minute consultation call, go to the website tammeronsplace.com and either let me know through email or let me know in person, that word consultation, and you'll get 10% off, knowing that you've listened to this show today. So I just want to remind you guys, or thank you for taking this time out to spend it here with me today on the show. And I hope you resonated with me, or you feel compelled to listen again or share the recorded version with your friends. And always remember that my life is the same as yours. I'm not perfect, but I just love to share my stories of challenges. I genuinely want us all to become successful so we can live happier and more fulfilling lifestyles. It requires courage, communication, and most of all, some fun. And no matter what we need or feel we need, I believe it can be accomplished in a comfortable, relaxing, and safe place, just like right here. So remember, come back next week for another great show with me, Tammeron, on Let's Figure It Out Intimately. So cheers for now.
Thank you again for listening to Let's Figure It Out Intimately. Please join Tammeron again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Let's figure it out intimately. Again.